Shabbat Shalom. We are beginning. It is good to be here today. It's good to be here tonight. It's good to be here walking around on the surface of planet Earth, isn't it? Oh, man. Absolutely. It's not shaking. The Earth is not moving. The Earth is hopefully stable. May it be stable for all of us. Thank goodness. We begin on page 5 in the Siddur. Shalom Aleichem is a greeting. It's a song. It's a prayer. It's a perspective that we begin on page 5 with the awareness that our daily and or Shabbat gathering can be imbued with divine significance. That's what Shalom Aleichem is. There's an ancient tradition that when people left the synagogue and went home, an angel of peace and an angel of disruption accompanied those who were going home. And upon entering, if the home was chaotic and people were not of the right mind and the table wasn't set and it wasn't really Shabbostic, then the angel of disruption would say, may it be like this every Friday night. And the good angel would have to say, Amen. But if they walked into the house, and according to the Talmud, the candles had been kindled, and the table were set, and people were in a proper frame of mind, and there's a sense of peace and be ready for Shabbat, then the good angels would say, may every Shabbat be like this one. And the disrupted angel would have to say, Amen. That's an old story which underlies the idea of greeting angels on Shabbat within our interactions, our home, our synagogue interactions. So it's a great story, and it's a fun story, but if we dig deeper, we realize that there's great significance in the perspective that angels presenting the opportunity for disruption or quality are available to you and me, if and when we only open our minds to that perspective. All that is inside Shalom Aleichem. Page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Baruch hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamlochim, hakadosh baruch hu. L'chun on page 11. I'm glad. Page 11. Lechune ranana ranana ladonai naria naria letzor yishenu. Lechune ranana ranana ladonai naria naria letzor yishenu. Nekad mafanav nekad mafanav nekad mafanav betoda bizmirot bizmirot naria lo bizmirot bizmirot naria lo bizmirot bizmirot naria lo bizmirot bizmirot naria lo. The bottom stanza on page 11. Come then, let us bow and kneel, let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. And on page 12, the last stanza on the Hebrew side. Arbaim shana kut v'dor of amarm to'e lev of haim v'haim lo yidu drachai asher nishbati v'yapi im yavon el menuchati. On page 14 on the English side. Bow to Adonai in the glory of this holy place. Tremble before God's presence, all who dwell on earth. Announce among the nations, Adonai reigns. The land is firm and will not be moved. Peoples will be truthfully judged. The heavens shall be glad and the earth rejoice. The sea and its fullness roar. The meadows and all that grows in them exult. Even the trees of the forest shall sing praise, as Adonai comes to judge the earth, judging lands with righteousness and peoples with divine truth. On page 14, it's the Hebrew side. It's the red arrow, and it's just two lines, Yismichu Shamayim, and it's also found here in the transliteration. Just that one little line. We haven't sung this in a while. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yeramayam, 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 Umalo, Yeramayam, 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 Umalo, Yeramayam, 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 Umalo, Yeramayam, 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 Umalo. Yesmechu Hashamayim, Yesmechu Hashamayim, Yesmechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. And on page 21. Mizmor David. Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, Havul Adonai kavod shemo, Hishtachavul Adonai b'hadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim el kavod, Hirim Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shaver arazim, Vaishaber Adonai tarzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel, Levanon v'Sirion kemoven re'emim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai Yacholel Ayalot, Vayachesov Yearot, Uvehechalo Kulo Omer, Kulo Omer Kavod, Adonai Lama Bul Yashav, Vayeshev Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Oz Liamo Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amo Vashalom. And before Lecharudim, we turn to the song sheet that has on its lower section, Sow in Tears, Reap in Joy, which is a contemporary piece composed by Debbie Friedman. But let me give you a little bit of background. It's sow in tears, reap in joy, which is a phrase taken from a psalm in the Bible. And for some who are familiar with benching, saying the special grace after meals on the days of the week and also on Shabbat, that's the kicker. Because on the days of the week, we have what we call the ordinary bench, the ordinary grace after meals. But on Friday night and Shabbat morning and Shabbat afternoon, if people are so inclined to bench in the traditional manner, we insert this little stanza from the Psalms. It's 126, it's Shir HaMalot. And Shir HaMalot has a special feel to it, special taste. First, the word shir means song, and malot means ascendancy, the act of ascending. And so when we are, so when we are saying the grace after meals, the benching on Shabbat, we are trying to ascend. And what's inside the Shir HaMalot is that there's a sense that sometimes during our lives, we're weeping. And we weep for a variety of reasons. And what this song, this poem in the Bible and the Tanakh is trying to teach is that may be the case that when we are weeping, our tears turn into joy and song and laughter. That's the Psalm, Shir HaMalot, Psalm 126. And that's what Debbie Friedman tries to present in her own contemporary manner in this piece. And no, we lost her about 10, 11 years ago, unfortunately, and she was just a voice and a mind and a heart and a living perspective that helped to transform American Jewish life in many ways. And I want us to, because of what we're seeing in the world today, when I feel like crying, I look at either the Shir HaMalot, the Psalm, which is Psalm 126 found in the Bible, which we bench on Friday night and Shabbos morning and Shabbos afternoon, and I also look at how Debbie Friedman is trying to present that to a community that may not know the original expression of Shir HaMalot. And so that's this piece right now.
Those tear-filled eyes. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. It's the song of the dreamer. From the dark place it grows, like a flower in the desert, the oasis of our souls. Come back where we belong. You who hear our longing cries, our mouths, our lips are filled with song. You can see our tear-filled eyes. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in
As I said earlier, this is a contemporary view, and it's an imperative, transforming Psalm 126 into an operative focus. And for the 1,000 or 1,200 or 1,400 years that we've been singing Shir HaMalot on Friday night and Shabbat morning and Shabbat afternoon as part of the benching, part of the grace after meals, what we've been doing is exercising our spiritual muscles. There's a different kind of strength at work when we do our very best to look at a contemporary reality which ordinarily would brook weeping. And we're going to say, no, lav davka. In spite of that, we're going to understand that life is good. And our participation in the world brings value to life. And we're going to exercise our strength. And we're going to turn our weeping into laughter. And we're going to see the beauty of life. We're striving to present, to appreciate the potential for optimism and beauty, even if and when there might be something else in front of us. That's Shir HaMalot. And now we're on L'Chorodi on page 23, the first 3 stanzas on page 23, the concluding 3 stanzas on page 25. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmiyanu elam yuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad l'shem otif eret v'letila. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat l'cha v'necha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir malacha kol mitzai mitacha fecha rav lach shevet b'yemek habacha v'hu yachamol alayechem la. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. 25 v'hayolem shisa shosayich v'rachaku kol mevalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kim sos chatan al kala. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin osmo teferotzi v'et Adonai taritzi al yadish ben partzi v'nismecha v'nagila. Lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzala toch emonei am segola. Boi chala lechadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yai dai 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 yada da 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 yai dai 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 yada da 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 dai 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 yada da 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 yai dai da dai yada da da da. You may be seated, or you can remain standing if you want. It's your choice, but we're on page 27. And now Shabbat's happy because we've been singing. And we're recognizing that time is valued, and time is to be cherished. And our living in time is something to be sung over. Beginning on page 27. Mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat hovodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon ulezamer l'shimcha elyon lehagid baboker chasdecha ve'emunatcha baleilot alei asor v'alei navel alei higayon bechinor mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat tov lodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon ulezamer l'shimcha elyon ki simach Adonai b'falecha b'maaseh yadecha aranen magalo maaseh Adonai ma'od amaku machshavotecha mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat tov lodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. A moment of silence. On page 28, the last stanza. Tzadik hatamar yifrach keres balvanon yiska shetulim
beveit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, od yenovon beseva, deshenim verananim yeyo lehagid, ki ashar Adonai tzori v'lo avatavo. We rise now, the Borchum, turning to page 39b, the official beginning of the evening service, attuning our eyes and our mind to what's going on in the outside world. The day is soon drawing to a close, and it's Shabbat. God's been looking forward to this all week for millennia. Is there a word, millennia? I just made it up, right? So this is God's favorite time zone, getting ready for Baruch. Baruch et Adonai Amavorach. Baruch Adonai Amavorach Le'olam V'ed. And we are seated. The first English on page 39b, the first bracha. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space. You completed your work of creation on the seventh day, calling this day from one evening to the next the holy Shabbat, and gave this day of rest in all its holiness to your people Israel. Creator of day and night, rolling light before darkness and darkness from light, making day pass and bringing on the evening, distinguishing day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamidim Lo Chalen Olam V'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. On page 40 on the Hebrew side. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Havtam Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadita Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachvenu u'v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki em chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvehem negei yomam v'layla V'avotecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. In a moment, Shema on page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kol Machal Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha be'echol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayo hadvarim ha'ele Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha Veshinantam Levanecha V'dibarta bam B'shivtecha B'veitecha Uvalechtecha V'aderech Uveshachbecha V'kumecha Ukishartam Leot Al Yadecha Dehayu letotafot beninecha Oktavtam Al Mizuzot Beitecha Ovisharecha. V'ahavta means and you will love. Depends on how you want to understand it from a dikduk, that's the Hebrew word for grammar, perspective. Is it a directive? Is it a command? Is it a halavai, hopeful understanding? V'ahavta, love. And that's the song sheet here. This is the contemporary piece by Craig Talman.
Love your God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your soul. Love your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. Where you live, where you lie, where you stumble, where you thrive, with all you speak, with all you know, with all your soul. Be like God, one like God, in love and life. Be like God, love like God, with all your heart, with all your might, with all your soul. When you seek, when you soar, when you breathe and breathe no more, love your God, be with God, go with God.
It's a beautiful comment, John. Shkoyach, true. Breathe and breathe no more. It reminds us. Adonai Elohechem emet. On page 44. Umalchutam beratzon kiblu alehem Moshe u'Miriam u'vnei Yisrael lecha anu shiram b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam mi chamocha b'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh Narati Lord Mochutaka Ra'ovanecha Bokeayam Zeli Anu V'yamrum Adonai Yimloch Le'olah V'ne'emar Kifad Adonai et Yaakov Ugalo Yad Chazak Baruch Atah Yisrael. I'm still reflecting upon what John said about breathe no more. And I'm looking at the Hashkivenu on page 45. And I've said before, and I'll say it again. When the Hashkivenu was first composed, the intent was that it would accompany you and me as we were getting ready to lay our heads down on air pillows and go to sleep, each one of us, in his or her own private slumber. But then it migrated from the Shema on the bed to what's becoming later what we now call the evening service, which emerged later than the Shema on the bed. Hashkivenu was initially to be recited by an individual as he went to sleep, where she went to sleep at night in the privacy of his or her own slumber. And the sensitivity of the Hashkivenu is, when I'm going to sleep, I can't really sleep if I know that there are other people out there who can't sleep. That's the Hashkivenu. And the older I get, and the more I see in this world, the more I am just taken by the Hashkivenu. I say it every night in the quiet of my dark little private few moments. No individual of heart can go to sleep without thinking of other people who can't go to sleep. That's Hashkivenu. And it arrives in the evening service after having first been established within the Shema on the bed ritual. Because the evening service became a method for community coming together. We now call it minyan. That concept and that term arises later. So for those who breathe, and those who breathe no more, and for the loved ones of those who breathe, and for the loved ones who breathe no more. Page 45. Hashkivenu, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. ensure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai. This was the canopy, peace over us, over all the people, Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Top of page 46. V'shamero b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam yai b'nei oven b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz uvayom hashivi Shabbat vayinafash uvayom hashivi Shabbat vayinafash. Yitkara v'yitkara shemei Rabbah b'v'rcha yechon v'yom echon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'gala Obisman Karev V'imero Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam L'yalmei Maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'naseh v'nadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kedusha b'rechu leila mekor b'chata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiram v'alma v'imero amen. We rise to the Silent Amida, pages 47 to 52 in the Hebrew or the English, or an opportunity for us to design and offer a private prayer in silence. Page 53. 53. Vaychulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi mlachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi mikol mlachto asher asa Vayavarech Elohim et Yom Hashvi Vaykadesh oto Kivo Shabbat Mikol Melachto Asher bara Elohim la'asut Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vanara El Elyon Konei Shamayim Va'aretz Mogen avot bidvaro mechayim eitim b'ma'amaro ha'el hakadosh she'en kamo ha'meniach lamo b'yom Shabbat kodsho kivam ratza le'aniach lahem kivam ratza laniach lahem lefanav navod birav fachad v'nodeh lishmo bechol yom tamid ma'on habrachot el hahodot adon hashalom mekadesh hashabbat umavarek shevim Umeniach midusha la'am medushnei oneg zecher l'maseh v'reishi Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu ritzei v'imnuchateinu kodshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkeinu b'toratecha Sabeinu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuatecha v'taher libeinu le'avdecha be'emet v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava uv'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha v'anochu Yisrael mekadesh shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat Yitkadal v'kadash shemei Rabbah B'amaflimeru Amen Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach L'olam yolme almayoh Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'nosevinav shmei kudashah brechu L'olam v'chosvimeru Amen Titkabel tzadhondan d'chaysvag v'shmimeru Amen Yesh v'zimeru Amen Oseh b'mavu yaseh shalom L'chosvimeru Amen We Jews love words. Gosh, do we talk. We've been talking for a long, long time. We even save words that people from before us have been saying hundreds, thousands of years ago. This is an example. This is the Siddur. Many of us grew up on this Siddur. This is the daily and Shabbat morning, afternoon, evening Siddur. It's pretty thick. As we say in North Carolina days, that's right thick. Now, of course, we modified it. This is just the Friday night and Shabbat morning and afternoon service. The daily service has been removed. It's still pretty thick. A lot of pages in here. If you're curious, if you're looking at what do I say for Pesach, this is the Passover service. It's called a machzor. This is the Sukkot service. It's called a machzor. This is Rosh Hashanah, machzor. This is Shavuos. What's it called? Exactly. Take a wild guess. This is Yom Kippur, machzor. And we have a book just for each holiday. Look how thick it is. Lots of words. Gosh, we've got words. We love words. And remember, this is the Talmud. This is just one of 20 volumes. This is a compendium of arguments that Jewish people finished saying 1,500 years ago, and we recorded them because we want to read other people's arguments and hold on to them. How's that for crazy? We love words. Another way of understanding it is that we appreciate opinions. We appreciate diversity of opinions, and we storehouse perspective, and we hand it down over centuries. And there's an insight in there, which I've shared before, but that's not what I'm talking about tonight. If you gleaned all the different prayers from all the different prayer books and set aside all those that are common, we say the Shema at every prayer service. We say the Birkat HaShachar at every morning service. We say the Kaddish at every evening service. You know what I'm talking about. If we looked at for the compendium, this is every single individual prayer that's not repeated for the entire year. And actually, some of the open the door, close the door for high holidays are not in here. When we stand up and sit down, open and close, some of those poetry pieces are not here. So we have lots of words. And yet, there's something on my mind on the serious side. When you and I walk into a Shiva house, according to Jewish tradition, and you are visiting somebody who's just lost a loved one, we, the visitor, are not to speak until spoken to. You may not know that. That's part of the tradition. But there is a power within that practice of walking in and remaining silent. And it is up to the mourner or the person who is grieving to initiate the conversation to and with anyone who has walked into the home. We're supposed to just stand there or even find a seat, because it might be that the mourner or the griever doesn't really feel like schmoozing just then when you got there. The tradition was come back from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, perhaps as many as 1,500 years ago, would say, create the space for silence. I know a lot of my local Jews who, upon entering a Shiva home, don't know what to do and feel uncomfortable with silence. And they begin to share words because we're used to lots of words. And people might say, how are you? Are you okay? And every person in this room has lost a loved one. And you and I know that when we just finished the cemetery or a few days later, we are not okay. And then somebody might say, you'll get through this, which is not what somebody who just buried a loved one wants to hear or is capable of processing. And just as an individual, if somebody says to me, your so-and-so is in a better place, I disagree, because my so-and-so's better place would be next to me or next to my dad or next to my mom or next to whomever it is within my household. And God is going to have all eternity with the spirit of my beloved one. And our family really wanted and needed another 5, 10, 15 years so that their grandchildren could get to know their grandparents. And I think many people are uncomfortable with having the silence. And so their mouths open and words fall out, trying to fill the space. A little while ago, we were talking about why is there that empty pause in a modern, you might say, song prayer. Pause, and maybe it's for those who breathe no more. Maybe in the pause of 3 seconds, we alter our perspective. This is on my mind, not only because over the past number of months, our shul membership has lost quite a number of loved ones, not only because just within the past 6 days total, within 5 days, with one of our families, they've lost a mother and a father, but also because of something that's in tomorrow's Torah reading. Moses and Aaron are brothers. Moses is the baby, Aaron's the middle, Sister Miriam is the eldest. Moses and Aaron are 3 years apart, so at this stage, they're in the range of, give or take, Moses is 84, plus or minus. Well, Moses is 80, 81, and Aaron is 84, plus or minus. So these are grown-ups. Aaron sees 2 adult sons die. They're caught in a firestorm. And as soon as I mention the word firestorm, I'm fairly sure that every one of us can appreciate what it means to be caught in a storm of fire. And then Moses comes forward and says to 2 cousins, take hold of your 2 cousins and remove them from this scene. And then Moses turns to Aaron and offers a phrase. And for thousands of years, people have been trying to figure out what this phrase means. The phrase is Moses speaking on behalf of God. I am made holy by those who are close to me. I, God, am made holy, kadosh, by those who are close to me. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's supposed to mean Moses and Aaron, the entire nation of Israel, which is standing together at a special dedication ceremony of the Mishkan, the first ever tabernacle worship space. The 2 men who've just died, we don't know how old they are, could be 20s, 30s, and 40s, but they're adults. What does it mean to be made holy by those who are close to me, saying God? And there are many commentaries, and much of the gist of those commentaries is that when you're righteous and when you're holy and when you're close to God and those kinds of things, which I've never been able to stomach. I can't get my head around it. A younger brother, he's in the 80s, turns to his older brother, who just saw 2 of his sons die. And the younger brother, I think, is trying to say something that may make sense to a father who has just lost 2 adult children in his own eyes right before him in a terrible onslaught of fire. And strikingly, Aaron stands silent. Aaron doesn't talk. Now, I have no way of knowing if our much later Jewish tradition of Shiva, walking into a house remaining silent until the mourner speaks, in any way is an inversion of, or some kind of a treatment of, Aaron's being silent at the death of his sons. I have no way of knowing. But I'm struck at how the formative sacred book of our tradition, Torah, presents Moses speaking, and I think in some way the words don't work. And we are a community that is constructed upon the workability of words. The words don't work, and there needs to be the recognition of silence. And maybe in some way, much later, perhaps, I don't know, that develops into part of what we call our Jewish mourning tradition and ceremony, such that when you and I walk into a Shiva home, and many people in the 21st century don't understand this and are uncomfortable with silence, we are guided to an experience of just wait and be present. Because our words, which are from us, are not necessarily going to fit the person who's experiencing loss, which is in her mind or his mind. We need to learn to pause. And we need to, in some way, understand what it means to have a treasure trove, an archive of so many different words and ideas and models of learning. And we also know when to just rely on our own selves and be quiet. And that's a message tonight. Silence is listening. Whisper. We rise the Aleinu. Page 56. Aleinu leshabeach laton hakol latet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanuk goye haratzot velo samanu kimishpachot adamot shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam Vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu She'unot Teshamayim Yosei Aretz Umoshav Yekaro Bashamayim Mima'al Ushchinatu Zo Begavei Meromim Hu Elohim B'dmokei Ki Adonai Hua Elohim Bashamayim Mimal V'yal haaretz mitachot Enon. Kagatu b'Torah techa Adonai yimloch la'olam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Please now remain standing. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 58. And we, marking the yortzeits of our loved ones within our own shul, remember Samuel Ratner, Nathan Kahn, Helen Reiner, Isidore Berman, Isaac Schwartz, Lena Zuckerman, Joseph Weber. Are there any other names to mention? Melvin Phillips? Are there any other names to mention this evening? Remember those whose names are not known specifically to us, those who were stolen from the children of Israel on October 7th, those who have died in captivity. Perhaps those joining online have a name to share as well. You can mention the name aloud. Page 58. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba. Amen. Be'olma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chaye echon u'v'yom echon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zaman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mivarach le'olam al'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'rechu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'olma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. As we're seated, just a little reminder that those last two lines, Yehei Shlomo Rabbah and Oseh Shalom, are almost the same. One is Aramaic and one is Hebrew. And in two different languages, we're saying the same thing. We want to emphasize the need for shalom and the value that we place upon shalom and the irreplaceable quality of chayim, of life. That's how we mark the loss of our loved ones, by asserting in public that life and peace are enduring values. That's the watchword of being Jewish, to promote life and peace. We'll conclude, and then in a moment, off mic, I have one or two short comments or announcements to make. If you will, looking at the other song sheet, we'll conclude with this little piece. It's "Oh, Guide My Steps." And in a way, in this little song, "Oh, Guide My Steps," what we have before us is akin to the prayer of Tfilat HaDerech, going on some kind of a journey and seeking peace and protection and safety on our journey. And it can be as grand as actually making a trip, or it could mean literally walking out of the door and hopefully arriving in our own homes at some time in a little while with safety and peace. Oh, guide my steps.
My steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha.
Oh, guide my steps
Ufros
and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
To those at home, we look forward to your joining us. May you have a Shabbat of Shalom. May God bless you. Know that you are loved. You're a part of our community, part of our hearts. Can't wait to see you in the near future. May God always be a source of support, and may you know that you are part of our community.